All right, so you really want to get inside ADP 622.
Absolutely.
We're going deep today
Hmm.
into Chapter 2 character. Because leading in the Army, it's about way more than just knowing tactics.
It's the foundation of everything.
Exactly. It's about trust, resilience, those core values that make the Army tick.
Yeah.
And what I find so fascinating is how ADP 622 emphasizes this idea that your true nature, guided by your conscience, that's what really shapes how you lead.
Yeah, it's not about the rank on your collar. It's about the person you are at your core.
So true. But how does that actually play out?
Yeah.
It's not always easy to see someone's character right off the bat.
Right. That's where actions speak louder than words. Every decision a leader makes, every action they take, it's a reflection of their character. And that builds the trust they need to lead effectively.
It's like building a bank of trust,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Each consistent action, each decision made with integrity, it's a deposit.
Yeah.
And that makes sense because ADP 622 is clear. Becoming a leader of character, it's not like checking a box, it's a journey.
It's built on daily experiences, on consistently choosing to act in line with those core values, even when it's tough.
So it's about having that unshakable inner strength to do what's right,
Yeah.
even when no one's watching.
Exactly. And speaking of doing what's right, that leads us to the Army values. They're more than just a list of words. They're the bedrock of the Army.
And there's something I'm willing to bet, by heart. But have you ever thought of them as a pact?
Uh-huh.
A pact with your fellow soldiers, with the nation.
Yeah, it's a powerful way to look at it. Because when you break it down, each value represents a commitment, a promise to uphold a certain standard of conduct.
And to help us remember these values, we've got that handy acronym, LDR SHIP. Each letter represents a core value: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. But what really brings these values to life are the stories in ADP 622.
Absolutely. These aren't just abstract concepts. They're lived experiences of real leaders who faced extraordinary circumstances.
And one of the most powerful examples of unwavering loyalty has to be General Jonathan M. Wainwright during World War II.
His story is a masterclass in leadership under pressure. Captured, facing unimaginable hardship as a prisoner of war, yet his commitment to his duty to his soldiers, to the nation, it never wavered.
It's easy to talk about loyalty when things are good, but General Wainwright, he lived it, even when facing incredible adversity.
Yeah, he understood that true loyalty goes beyond words. It's a deep-seated commitment that fuels your actions, even in the darkest of times. And you see that same unwavering dedication in his actions during his time in Corregidor.
It wasn't just about enduring captivity. It was about leading, about continuing to fight for his men, about never giving up hope. That's going so far beyond the call of duty.
It speaks to that incredible resilience that's woven into the very fabric of the Army values.
But resilience alone isn't enough. It's about how you treat those around you, and that's where respect comes in.
Right. And it makes me think of that powerful quote from Major General John M. Schofield. The discipline which makes the soldiers of a free country reliable in battle is not to be gained by harsh or tyrannical treatment. On the contrary, such treatment is far more likely to destroy than make an army.
Wow. He's saying that true discipline, the kind that makes soldiers effective in combat, it comes from respect, from treating each other with dignity, not from fear or intimidation.
Precisely. It's about recognizing the inherent worth of every soldier, understanding that they're more than just subordinates. They're individuals with their own experiences, their own strengths.
It's about creating an environment where people feel valued, respected, where they're willing to follow you not because they have to,
Yeah.
but because they want to. So we've got loyalty, duty, and respect. What comes next?
Selfless service. It's a cornerstone of Army leadership.
And it's not just about putting the needs of the Army before your own, right?
Exactly. It's bigger than that. It's about acknowledging that the strength of the Army comes from its people, and that includes their families.
Because a soldier who knows their family is taken care of, that their needs are being met, they're going to be more focused, more effective in their duties.
It's about fostering a sense of community, a shared understanding that we're all in this together. And that spirit of selflessness, it goes hand in hand with honor.
Because you're not just serving blindly, right?
Right.
You're serving with integrity, with a commitment to doing what's right, even when no one's watching. And that brings us to Sergeant David B. Blake. His story during the Korean War really exemplifies this.
Yeah, talk about honor in action. As a medic, he repeatedly put himself in harm's way, even engaging the enemy with his bare hands to protect his comrades.
Wow. It's one thing to read about these values, but to see them lived out so powerfully, it really hits differently.
It demonstrates that deep sense of responsibility, that unwavering commitment to his fellow soldiers, which is at the very heart of honor.
It's like honor is the driving force that pushes you to act, even when it's terrifying, even when it means putting your own life on the line.
Precisely. And it's intricately connected to integrity. Which brings us to the story of Lieutenant Vernon Baker.
His actions in World War II, facing down those machine gun nests in Italy. Talk about an unbreakable moral compass.
Even when his commander ordered a retreat, he knew he couldn't back down. He stayed and fought alongside his men, refusing to compromise his integrity. He understood that true leadership means doing what's right, legally and morally, even when it's difficult.
And that takes a special kind of courage, which leads us to the final piece of our LDR ship puzzle, personal courage. And Warrant Officer Hugh C. Thompson Jr.'s actions during the Vietnam War. That's a prime example.
Witnessing American soldiers firing on unarmed civilians, he could have easily looked away. Instead, he chose to define courage in a whole new way.
He landed his helicopter between the soldiers and the civilians, putting himself at immense risk to protect those who were defenseless. That's incredible.
He displayed both physical and moral courage that day, reminding us that sometimes the most courageous act is to stand up for what you know is right, even when it means questioning authority.
His actions really highlight that courage isn't just about facing physical danger. It's about having the moral strength to do what needs to be done, regardless of the consequences. Now, ADP 622 also acknowledges that we all come from different backgrounds, right?
Right.
We bring our own personal beliefs and values to the table.
And that diversity is actually a strength. While everyone's journey is unique, we're united by the oath we take, by those core Army values that transcend individual beliefs.
It's about finding that common ground, that shared commitment to something bigger than ourselves. But let's be real, even with the best intentions, there are going to be times when we face ethically murky situations.
Absolutely. And that's where ethical reasoning comes in. It's about recognizing that leadership isn't always about clear-cut right or wrong answers. It's about navigating those gray areas, making tough calls based on your understanding of the Army values.
So it's about thinking critically, weighing the potential consequences, and being able to justify your decisions.
Precisely. And it's about seeking guidance when you need it, talking to peers, superiors, even a chaplain. It's not a sign of weakness, but a commitment to making the most ethical choice.
It's about taking responsibility for your actions and the actions of those you lead. And sometimes that means having the courage to question an order you believe to be unlawful. That takes guts.
It does, and ADP 622 makes it clear. If you believe an order is unlawful, you have a duty to question it.
And it encourages seeking clarification, understanding the intent behind the order.
Exactly. It's about making informed decisions, guided by your conscience and the Army values, because sometimes the most courageous act is to disobey an order that violates those fundamental principles. Now, shifting gears slightly, let's talk about another crucial aspect of character highlighted in ADP 622, empathy.
Empathy. It's about stepping into someone else's shoes, really trying to understand their perspective.
It's about connecting with people on a human level, building those strong relationships that are essential for effective leadership.
Because when you can understand where your soldiers are coming from, even if you don't agree with them, it builds trust and allows you to lead with greater understanding.
Exactly. And it's not just about understanding your soldiers. It's about recognizing the vital role their families play in their lives and how their well-being directly impacts mission readiness.
Because a soldier with a strong support system at home is going to be more resilient, more focused. And that brings us to the warrior ethos, which feels like the perfect segue. It's the very essence of what it means to be a soldier.
Absolutely. That unwavering commitment to the mission, to your unit, to your fellow soldiers. It's about refusing to accept defeat, never quitting, and never leaving a fallen comrade behind.
It's that inner drive that pushes soldiers to go the extra mile, to confront challenges head-on, like Second Lieutenant Robert C. Joe Kingston during the Korean War. Despite harsh conditions, enemy fire, and being outnumbered, he led with incredible courage and determination.
Even after being wounded, he continued to lead his men. Talk about resilience. It's a testament to how the warrior ethos can inspire extraordinary actions in the face of adversity.
And it highlights the importance of discipline, another vital element of the warrior ethos. Holding yourself and those around you to the highest standards, even when it's tough.
Remember the story of those American soldiers in Iraq who refused to fire upon surrendering Iraqi soldiers?
Yeah.
Even in the heat of battle, they chose to follow the rules of engagement, demonstrating incredible discipline and upholding those core values.
That's an incredible example of discipline in action. They could have easily justified returning fire,
Mm.
But they chose to do what was right, even when it was difficult.
And that act of discipline ties in perfectly with the final element of character.
ADP 622 emphasizes humility.
It's about realizing you don't have all the answers right,
Right.
being open to learning and growing, no matter how much experience you have under your belt. Humility is the opposite of arrogance. It's that willingness to admit when you're wrong, to learn from your mistakes, and to constantly strive to be better.
And that's something I think any leader, regardless of their rank or experience, can benefit from. It creates an environment where everyone feels comfortable speaking up, sharing their ideas, and knowing they'll be heard.
Exactly. When leaders embrace humility, it fosters trust, encourages open communication, and ultimately makes them more effective. It's not about diminishing your authority, it's about empowering those around you.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into ADP 622, what does this all mean for you? It's not just a bunch of lofty ideals. It's a practical guide to becoming a better leader.
These stories we've discussed, they're not just historical anecdotes, they're roadmaps showing what's possible when you commit to these values, when you refuse to compromise your integrity.
They highlight the very real challenges leaders face and the courage, resilience, and unwavering commitment it takes to overcome them.
Think of it this way. ADP 622 isn't about telling you what to think. It's about giving you the tools to think for yourself, to make tough decisions guided by your conscience and those core Army values.
It's a reminder that leadership is a journey, not a destination, and that every challenge, every decision is an opportunity for growth. As you move forward, consider how you can embody these principles, how you can weave those Army values into the very fabric of your leadership style. Because even when things get tough, those values, that commitment to character, will be your guiding light.